During dinner, my sister-in-law mocked my infertility loudly in front of everyone. My husband laughed and said, "She's just being honest." I held back tears as his mother said, "You're not a real woman anyway." I clenched my fist under the table. 2 weeks later, they got an invitation that said, "I've eaten a lot of silent meals in my marriage. You know the kind, where you smile through your teeth while people talk at you, not to you. Where you laugh when you're supposed to, so you don't look weak. Where you pretend you didn't hear the insults because standing up for yourself would just make things worse." This was one of those nights. Except this time, it broke something inside me. It was a Sunday night at my in-laws' house in Omaha. Susan, the queen of the house, loved playing host, even though she always made me bring something and then claimed she made it herself. This time, it was the green bean casserole. I made it from scratch. She tossed it into a glass dish and said, "Good thing I thought ahead this morning. I'd stopped correcting her a long time ago. It wasn't worth it. Nothing I did ever was. Mark and I had been married for 5 years. We've been trying to have kids for 3 of them. Correction, I was trying. He said he wanted kids, but it was always, 'Let's wait.' Or, 'Not this year.' I took all the pills. Did every test. Got poked and prodded by strangers while Mark barely even showed up to appointments. And then, when we found out I had premature ovarian failure, he said, 'That's okay. We'll figure something out.' But we didn't. Because he didn't want to adopt. And I didn't want to force him. So I lived in silence with this weight on my chest every day. Dinner was the usual crew: Susan and Charles, Mark's parents. Danielle, Mark's younger sister, who'd just announced her 3rd pregnancy the week before, and her husband Dave. Their 2 toddlers were glued to their tablets at the kids' table, while we all sat around Susan's long cherrywood table pretending we liked each other. Danielle was showing off her latest ultrasound. Everyone oohed and awed like it was the second coming. Then she turned to me. "So, are you guys ever gonna join the club?" she said. "Or is your oven just permanently broken?" She laughed. A full, throaty laugh like she just said the funniest thing ever. I froze. My fork was halfway to my mouth. I could feel every set of eyes on me. I didn't know what to say. I looked at Mark, silently begging him to say something. To tell her to shut up. To defend me. He smirked. Shook his head. "She's just being honest," he said, stabbing a piece of roast beef. I swear I felt the floor drop out under me. Susan didn't miss a beat. She added, "You're just too sensitive." It's not her fault. Honestly, if you can't have children, that's just biology. Not everyone's meant to be a mother. Then she looked right at me. "You're not a real woman anyway." She said it so casually. Like she was commenting on the weather. I clenched my fist under the table so hard my nails dug into my palm. I wanted to scream. I wanted to flip the table. But I didn't. I sat there. Swallowed the lump in my throat. Took a sip of water so they wouldn't see my hands shake. No one said a word. Not Charles. Not Dave. Not even the kids. It was like they were all in on it. I made it through dessert. Some dry store-bought pie that Susan acted like she baked herself. When Mark and I left, he didn't even bring it up. Not one word. On the way home, he asked if I'd remembered to pay the electric bill. That night, he fell asleep watching some dumb car show. I laid awake in the dark. I kept hearing her voice over and over. "Not a real woman." Like a hammer to my chest. Over and over. And then I got quiet. Not sad. Just still. Because I was done. I was done letting people walk over me. Done trying to be the good daughter-in-law. Done waiting for someone to defend me. If no one was going to stand up for me, I'd do it myself. So I started planning. 2 weeks later that Friday morning, Susan got a cream-colored envelope in her mailbox. So did Danielle. So did Charles. And Mark. Each one had their name printed in gold script. Inside, an elegant white card with a wax seal and thick linen texture. It looked like a wedding invitation. At the top, "You are cordially invited to a celebration of new beginnings." The location, a private vineyard just outside Lincoln. Dress code, formal. Date, the following Sunday. It looked expensive. Classy. The kind of event Susan dreamed about being invited to. They all texted me and Mark. "What is this? Is it yours? Are you renewing your vows? Are you finally pregnant?" I said nothing. Mark was just as confused as them. I let him stay confused. The night before the event, I handed him a manila envelope. "What's this?" he asked. "Everything," I said. Inside was a copy of the signed divorce papers. I had already filed. A letter from my attorney. Bank statements. My half already moved to my new account. A printout of his text to his ex-girlfriend, who he claimed was just a friend, but had messaged him things like, "You deserve someone who can give you kids." He flipped through the pages in silence. His face went pale. "What the hell is this? Are you serious?" I looked him dead in the eye. "You laughed while your family humiliated me. You let them break me. You let them make me feel like I wasn't enough. But I am. Just not for you." He tried to apologize. Said it was just a joke. Said he'd talk to them. Too late. I walked out. My suitcase was already in the car. The next day, they showed up to the vineyard expecting a party. What they found was a catered brunch with place cards and flower arrangements. At the center was a long table covered in framed photos. One frame showed a screenshot of Danielle's drunken voicemail calling me useless. Another showed Susan's secret Facebook account where she posted memes mocking infertile women, one of them captioned, "Why buy a car with no engine?" And then the main piece, a giant blown-up text from Mark to his ex saying, "I feel like I married a lemon. My mom was right." The final placard on the table simply said, "A lemon can still leave a bitter taste in your mouth." Then, the manager handed Mark a final envelope. Inside was a donation receipt. I had made a $3,000 donation to a women's infertility nonprofit in their names, with copies sent to the local paper's community notes section. I didn't attend the event. I was already in Colorado, starting fresh. After the vineyard event, I thought I was done with them. I thought silence would be enough. I was wrong. 2 days later, I got a call from a blocked number. I didn't pick up. Then came the text from Susan, Danielle, even Charles, all suddenly concerned about my mental health. "Susan, you need help." This was a cry for attention. "Danielle, you embarrassed the entire family. I hope you're proud of yourself." "Charles, you always were unstable. Mark didn't deserve that public stunt." I didn't respond to any of them. Then came Mark. He started blowing up my phone. "We need to talk. You didn't have to humiliate me. This is cruel. You're ruining my life." The man who said nothing while his mother called me less than human was now begging for a conversation. I blocked him. But he didn't stop. A week later, I found out through a mutual friend that he tried to access my email and my new bank account. He guessed old passwords I used back when we were married. He failed. I had already changed everything. But just knowing he tried made my stomach turn. He wasn't done with me. Then came the mail. I got a certified letter from an attorney. Mark had filed a complaint demanding a share of what he called mutual assets, including part of the donation I made in his family's name. I laughed when I saw that. He wanted money from a donation made to a cause he mocked? He called me broken. Called me a lemon. Now he wanted compensation? I called my lawyer immediately. She assured me he had no legal standing. The account was in my name. The donation was final. And the emotional distress claims he was trying to file? A joke. Still, it made things messy. Then came Danielle's podcast. Yes, a podcast. She started one called The Real Women Club, which she posted on Facebook and Spotify. The first episode? A full 20 minutes of her playing the victim. She didn't mention me by name, but it was obvious. She called me a bitter woman who lashed out at her loving family because she couldn't handle the truth. She accused me of bullying her. Said I had ruined her third pregnancy announcement and put stress on her unborn child. I was fuming. But I stayed quiet. I knew something they didn't. I had kept one final piece of evidence. Something I hadn't used yet. Months before the dinner, Mark had confided something stupid to me while drunk. Danielle wasn't as perfect as everyone thought. Her third child? Might not even be Dave's. He didn't tell me who the father was, but he said there had been problems. I filed it away, didn't think much of it. Until now. I reached out to Dave. I sent him a short, anonymous email. You should ask for a paternity test. Check text backups. Especially around the Vegas girls' trip Danielle took last year. I didn't hear back from him. But I didn't need to. 2 weeks later, Danielle's podcast went silent. Her Facebook went private. Mark's Instagram disappeared completely. And then I got a message from a mutual friend who worked at the county clerk's office. Dave had filed for divorce, cited infidelity, and requested full custody of the kids. But the storm wasn't over yet. I got a message from someone I hadn't talked to in years, Ellie. Mark's ex before me. The same woman he'd been texting during our marriage. She had seen the screenshots I'd posted at the vineyard. Apparently someone shared photos online. She messaged me. I didn't know he said all those things about you. I'm sorry. He was manipulative with me too. I believed him when he said you were unstable. I didn't know how to respond. I didn't expect her to reach out. Then she said, he's been trying to reconnect with me. After your divorce. Told me you cheated. That you ruined his life. I was done feeling shocked. It was just more of the same. I told her the truth. I sent her the screenshots. Every last one. From the Reddit posts, to the texts, to the fake email accounts he made to spy on me after I left. She was quiet for a while. Then thanked me. I didn't hear from her again. But 2 weeks later, Mark lost his job. Apparently, he had been using his work laptop to message multiple women, including coworkers. One of them reported him for harassment. The company launched an investigation and found everything. He was escorted out of the building. How do I know? Susan called me. Yup. She actually picked up the phone and called me. I didn't answer. She left a voicemail, her voice shaking. You've ruined this family. You'll never be one of us. I hope you're happy now that you've destroyed Mark's future. I played it twice. Then I saved it. Not because I needed the proof. But because it reminded me of something important. They never cared about me. Not really. They cared about their image. Their story. Their control. Now all of it was slipping away. And I hadn't even gotten to the final part of my plan yet. I thought they'd back off after Mark lost his job. Instead, things escalated. One night I came home from work, just a quiet Thursday in Fort Collins where I'd started over, and found a manila envelope on my doorstep. No name. No return address. Inside were photos of me. At the grocery store. At the gym. Walking my dog. Someone was following me. I felt sick. My hands shook as I flipped through each photo. Some were taken from across the street. Others were close. Too close. I called the police and filed a report. They said they couldn't do much unless I had proof of who sent it. No threats were written. Just images. Me. In my life. Like someone wanted me to know they were watching. I changed my locks that night. Got a security camera the next morning. And then I waited. 3 days later, my lawyer got an anonymous tip. The tipster claimed Mark had hired a private investigator to track his ex-wife's movements. For legal protection purposes. His words. He told the PI. I had stolen money from their shared account. Lied on legal documents. Abused him. All lies. We pulled the phone records. The payment was real. The PI was real. But once the firm found out Mark misrepresented the purpose, they dropped him immediately. That was mistake number 1. Mistake number 2? Mark had used a work email. His old work email, to hire the PI. That account, even though he was fired, was still under internal review from the harassment complaint. The company found it. And since I still had a copy of his contract from our joint tax filings, I knew that violated a dozen clauses. I forwarded everything to their HR team. A week later, Mark got a letter from their legal department. They were pursuing charges for breach of confidentiality and misuse of company resources. I wasn't even the one who started it. He burned himself. And still, Susan kept calling. Left me 2 voicemails in one day. You're tearing this family apart. Why can't you just move on? You've made your point. Enough already. Just stop. But I hadn't made my point yet. Not really. Because they still thought this was about revenge. It wasn't. It was about truth. That weekend, I sent out one final batch of letters. Plain white envelopes. No fancy fonts. Just facts. Inside each envelope, a printed screenshot of Susan's old Facebook comment about me from her burner account, the one where she said, "If my son had married someone fertile, we'd have a grandchild by now." A copy of the voicemail she left calling me unstable and not a real woman. Danielle's podcast transcript, word for word, where she accused me of faking trauma. A printed court filing showing Dave's paternity suit and her infidelity records. Mark's Reddit post, where he wrote, "Marriage is a scam if your wife can't give you kids." I sent these to every extended family member in their circle. Aunts. Cousins. Even Susan's church group, who'd always treated her like a saint. I didn't add any commentary. Just the truth. I didn't have to explain anything. Let them read. Let them decide who they really were. Then came the funeral. Not a literal one. A social one. Danielle's church revoked her community role. Mark's ex posted a public warning about him on Facebook, tagging his full name. Susan's friends, who once called her a pillar of grace, started cutting her off. And Charles? He was quietly served with an audit notice. Turns out, someone reported financial discrepancies in his rental business. I didn't do it. But I had sent copies of his shady leases to a local housing rights group after overhearing stories of how he bullied tenants. Someone followed through. I wasn't trying to destroy their lives. I just held up a mirror. They shattered themselves. And yet, even after everything, the worst part? Mark still thought I might come back. A month ago, he sent me one last message. I know we've been through a lot. But maybe we could talk. People change. I stared at the screen for a long time. My heart didn't race. I didn't cry. I didn't feel anything. I finally understood what true closure felt like. Not relief. Just clarity. I didn't reply to Mark's message. I didn't need to. By then, the pieces were already falling into place. Quietly. Perfectly. After months of being followed, insulted, and gaslighted, I decided it was time to finish what they started. Not with rage. Not with screaming. With truth. With precision. I'd spent the last 2 months collecting things. Screenshots. Audio. Paper trails. And I had one last move to make. See, what none of them knew was that I'd recorded that dinner. The night Danielle mocked my infertility. The night Susan called me not a real woman. Mark laughing along. All of it. On tape. I had started recording those family events out of habit, after one too many times they denied saying something cruel. It was my only way to stay sane. That recording? It was about to become very public. I posted the full audio clip online. On a platform that specialized in family trauma stories. The title was simple. My husband's family mocked my infertility over dinner. Here's how I reclaimed my life. I didn't use real names. I didn't have to. Within 24 hours, the story blew up. Thousands of comments. People outraged. Women sharing their own stories. Others connecting the dots through small details. They figured out who Danielle was. Who Susan was. People who knew them in Omaha sent messages. Screenshots. Confirmation. Danielle's podcast? Deleted. But it was too late. Someone saved the episodes. Clips were everywhere. People started calling her fertility fraud because of the paternity scandal with her third child. Dave's divorce lawyer included those podcast episodes in the custody battle. Danielle tried to backtrack, but it didn't work. She lost joint custody. Dave got full rights. Moved the kids to Arizona. Danielle was ordered to attend therapy and parenting classes. Her reputation in the local mom community? Gone. Susan? Well, her church pastor called a meeting. Someone forwarded my post to their community Facebook page. The entire audio clip was played during a women's ministry session. Someone recorded that, too. It made its way back to the internet. Susan tried to deny it. Said the audio was fake. But it wasn't. I had metadata. I had timestamps. I had the raw file. She was asked to step down from every volunteer committee. Her pillar of the community title was gone. She started posting defensive rants on Facebook. People unfriended her by the dozens. One of her rental properties was hit with a city violation complaint. 2 tenants filed a formal grievance. Charles had to cover the legal fees. Quietly sold one of the houses. And Mark? Let me tell you what happened to Mark. After his firing, Mark tried starting a YouTube channel. Just him, sitting in a chair, complaining about divorce and modern women. It never took off. He blamed the algorithm. Blamed society. Blamed me. Eventually, he showed up at a community networking event in Omaha trying to find work. But someone recognized him, from the audio. Wait, you're the guy who laughed when your wife got mocked for being infertile, right? That video? Someone recorded the moment he got called out. Posted it. He went viral again, but not the way he wanted. He posted a long message on Reddit, trying to defend himself. It got downvoted into oblivion. People recognized his username. The same one I had exposed at the vineyard months earlier. Eventually, he gave up. He moved into a small apartment across town. Word got around that he was doing food delivery now. The same man who once called me a lemon because I couldn't produce anything was now delivering packages for a living. Karma didn't miss a beat. I stayed in Fort Collins. Got a small house with a garden. Adopted another rescue dog. Named her Hope. I started a small side business, writing. Sharing stories. Helping women document their pain, and tell it their way. No lies. No edits. Just the truth. One of my blog posts got picked up by a women's magazine. Then a podcast. I was invited to speak on a panel for infertility awareness. After my talk, a woman came up to me crying. She hugged me and said, "Thank you. You made me feel less alone." That was the moment it all came full circle. I never got an apology. Not from Mark. Not from Danielle. Not from Susan. But I got something better. I got peace. I got strength. I got to be the version of myself I used to hide under the weight of their judgment. They tried to reduce me to nothing because I couldn't give birth. But I gave life to something they never expected: accountability. And that's what makes me a woman. A whole one.